What if I told you New York City once had no skyscrapers, no streets, and no Times Square? What if the land where millions of people now live was once dense forest, rivers, and wild animals roaming freely? Today, we're traveling back to the year 1609, when a Dutch explorer named Henry Hudson first sailed into the harbor of what would one day become New York City. And with the help of AI reconstruction, we're going to see something almost no one has ever seen before: what Manhattan actually looked like 400 years ago. Picture modern New York City, towering skyscrapers, crowded streets, taxi horns echoing between glass towers. But rewind the clock more than 4 centuries. In 1609, none of this existed. Where Central Park stands today, there were forests thick with oak, chestnut, and hickory trees. Where Wall Street buzzes with billions of dollars, there was once a narrow dirt path used by Native Americans. And where Times Square glows with giant screens and neon lights, there were only marshlands and wildlife. At the time, the island we now call Manhattan was home to the Lenape people, a Native American tribe that had lived there for generations. They called the island Mannahatta, which meant something beautiful, the island of many hills. But in September 1609, everything began to change because a European ship had just entered the harbor. The ship was called the Halve Maan, the Half Moon, and it was commanded by the English explorer Henry Hudson, sailing for the Dutch East India Company. Hudson was searching for something incredibly valuable, a shortcut to Asia. European traders believed there might be a hidden water route through North America that could lead directly to China and India. If Hudson found it, it would change world trade forever. As his ship sailed past what we now call New York Harbor, Hudson and his crew were stunned. Instead of a crowded city skyline, they saw something completely different: rolling green hills, dense forests stretching across the island, clear rivers flowing into the Atlantic, wildlife everywhere: deer, wolves, beavers, and even black bears. Smoke rising gently from Lenape villages scattered along the shoreline. For the Lenape people, this was just another day on their ancestral land. But for Hudson, this place looked like opportunity. He sailed his ship up the massive river now known as the Hudson River, hoping it might lead to Asia. But after days of exploring, Hudson realized the truth. This river was incredible, but it was not a passage to the east. Still, his discovery would trigger something far bigger than he imagined, because Europe had now found a new gateway to North America. Within just a few decades after Hudson's voyage, Dutch settlers arrived and built a small trading colony called New Amsterdam. The forests began to fall, farms appeared along the island, and wooden houses slowly replaced Lenape settlements. In 1626, the Dutch famously purchased Manhattan from the Lenape people for goods worth about $24, often described today as roughly 60 guilders, though historians debate what that transaction truly meant. But what happened next changed the world. New Amsterdam eventually became New York City. The hills of Mannahatta were flattened, the rivers were redirected, the forests disappeared, and over the next 400 years, Manhattan transformed into one of the most powerful cities on Earth. But if you could stand on the shoreline in 1609, before the skyscrapers, before the bridges, before the millions of people, you would see something almost impossible to imagine today: a wild island of forests, rivers, and rolling hills. A place called Mannahatta, and the beginning of the story that would eventually become New York City.